Hi, my name is Jenna Medlin. I'm a student in EDU 311, and this is my case study presentation. Throughout the presentation, I will be referring to my student as B. Just to tell you a little bit about her, she is a quirky but shy first grader who loves to show off her best work. So when she tries especially hard on something, she has to show it to some sort of authority figure to get that praise that she's craving for it. Now, this is her second year in first grade, so she is a repeater. However, this is only her first year receiving special education services, and she receives those services for speech about twice a week, and she goes to the resource teacher daily for 2 sessions, one for reading and language arts and the other for math. She is 7 years old and one of 4 siblings. So she does have 3 other brothers. They're all brothers. One of the older brothers has some major anger management issues. So the parents definitely have their hands full with that. And both parents are present. The father works and the mother stays at home to take care of her youngest brother, who's just a baby, and to try to deal with the issues with the anger management issues as well. I was able to talk to Brianna about some of the things that she likes, and she kept talking about her making bracelets, and she loves to make bracelets. And I think one of the reasons why is because she really loves that hands-on concept, and I really see it especially during math when we're working with manipulatives. So I see her, making those abstract ideas. Her being able to manipulate it allows her to make those abstract ideas into concrete ideas to where she can wrap her mind around it. And I think that really helps her tremendously in her academics. Reading wise, she does not like to read. She did say that she reads chapter books at home, but I find that a little hard to believe just for the fact that academically she's not able to read chapter books and comprehend them. So she might read it, but she's not really understanding what she's reading. Some academic challenges for her are definitely her speech and her reading. Her speech has improved lately, and her reading comprehension has slightly improved, but not quite as much as we would want it to. Now, sometimes that's a real challenge for myself and for my cooperating teacher, is that sometimes she just decides not to do her work, whether she thinks it's too hard or she just doesn't feel like it that day. Whatever it is, I definitely see that as not only an academic challenge, but also a behavioral challenge. Another behavior challenge that I see is that she's recently been diagnosed with ADHD. Personally, I have not seen the hyperactive part of that, but I'm interested to see if she gets put on medicine, how she will react to that, and whether or not it will make a positive impact on her schoolwork. Now, I was able to interview my cooperating teacher about 2 months or so ago, just to try to find out a little bit more about Brianna and about her home life. And she informed me that she believes Brianna is often pushed to the side at home. So, just between the mom and dad trying to take care of the baby and trying to take care of the son with some anger management issues, I think sometimes they're just kind of like, go to your room. We're trying to deal with this right now. And not maliciously by any means, but I think she just kind of stuck doing her own thing most of the time. Now, at the time of this interview, my cooperating teacher did not think Brianna was ready for 2nd grade, but at this point, she has really improved with a lot of her academics. So, she'll still struggle in 2nd grade, my cooperating teacher believes, but she has a chance for success if she keeps on the track that she's on currently. Now, I was able to observe B in some different environments, and the first environment was in the resource room. And from what I had seen in class every day to the resource room, she was a completely different person. B was very confident in the resource room. She sat down and she did her work, and she didn't argue with the teacher or anything like that. So I thought it was really interesting how in different environments she acted completely different. My second environment was in the general ed classroom. And this is where, she kind of argued with my teacher a little bit. Now, it was kind of a free day this day. They were just kind of coloring and trying to do some cut and paste activities while EQT testing was going on. But B was very defiant for this time period that I was observing her, would not follow directions. Not that she was really talking, but she was being disruptive through her defiance by my teacher. The third place I was able to observe her was the cafeteria, and she started off really quietly like she normally is. She just kind of keeps to herself. And then about 10 to 15 minutes into the lunch, she started becoming very animated, and my teacher had to talk to her a few times just to kind of calm down and lower her voice, things like that. So it's definitely interesting to see the difference between one environment and the other. So some social strengths and challenges. She's a very shy kid, but I've noticed when she gets with her best friend in the classroom that they both tend to get a little loud and animated with each other, and they just want to be best friends, which is fine. But it can become disruptive a lot. So personally, if it was my classroom, I would separate them two and then use their reunion in the classroom to become, or as a reinforcement, like a positive reinforcement. Now, I was able to do a sociogram with the class, just kind of seeing where people in the class stood. And I asked questions such as, who are your 3 best friends in the classroom? Who are 3 people you play with at PE? Who would you like to be friends in the classroom? Who do you think is smart in the classroom? Things like that. And throughout everyone in the classroom, B's name was consistently left untouched, no marks to it. And this just kind of reinforces the fact that sometimes I think she's just kind of forgotten about because she's so quiet, other than, from the people around her that sit right around her. She's a little naive. She's a true follower, as I've heard described of her. She doesn't really take a stand for anything. Now, when I asked her to circle her 3 best friends, she only circled one name, which was the little girl I was referring to earlier. And when I asked her why she didn't circle any more names, she said it was because her mom and her grandma weren't on the list. So I think she kind of likes to keep it close to the people who she knows very well. Now, some interventions that I used with her in the classroom. What worked was peer tutor. But the thing about the peer tutor was that it had to be the right peer tutor. And I experimented with different peer tutors in the classroom, and this one little girl who's a higher achieving girl seemed to really help her. And by giving them both extra time to work on it, since they were kind of working on it as a team, then she was able to achieve a lot more, especially through my verbal prompts as well. What did not work was putting her with the wrong peer tutor. I did try to pair her with her friend that she loves so much, that she loves hanging out with, and that just didn't work well because they got really giggly with each other and would not complete their work. Now, the special intervention, the cooperative learning group, that seemed to really work well. She loves to work with her table, and even though her friend was in the group, she was able to stay on task and finish what she needed to finish. And she really enjoyed it because I used a manipulative activity where she was able to change it, so she was able to understand the concept. All in all, I learned a lot from this little girl. I learned as a future educator, it's very important to know your students' family history and what their home life is like, because that's going to play a big part in how they act at school. So I think that's one of the main things I learned from her, other than the fact that you have to try a lot of different ways before you figure out what's going to work best for that one student. I hope you have enjoyed my case study presentation. Thank you.